Hello, I'm Seema from Allo Basics. I welcome you all for the next video on wave optics. In this video, we'll discuss dual nature of light and light as a wave. Now, why to discuss light as a wave? Because now we are going to consider light as a transverse wave. In earlier videos, we have discussed Newton's corpuscular theory and Huygens wave theory. Link of this is given in description box. Actually, according to Newton, light is in the form of particles, whereas Huygens predicted that light is in the form of longitudinal waves. Subsequent phenomena observed regarding light in 17th, 18th and 19th century. Few phenomena were supporting particle nature and few phenomena were supporting wave nature. So there was a continuous confusion regarding what should be the nature of light, whether it is particle or whether it is wave nature. In fact, 19th century has become milestone regarding nature of light. In 1865, that is in 19th century, James Clerk Maxwell predicted light as high frequency electromagnetic waves. First time he has said that light is in the form of transverse waves. Till then it was considered that light is in the form of longitudinal wave. And according to Maxwell, these electromagnetic waves can travel through vacuum. There is no need of any medium for propagation of light. Then Hertz had supported Maxwell's findings and he has verified existence of radio waves and their speed is same as that of the visible light, means he has shown that radio waves and light waves are similar type of waves and they are traveling with the same speed, and according to that these waves are electromagnetic wave. It has become a strong consideration that light is in the form of electromagnetic waves. Then in 1900 and 1905, that is early 20th century, Max Planck and Einstein has hypothesized that light is a concentrated packet of energy, or it is in the form of packets of energy, and name for these packets were given as quanta or photon. Now, the energy associated with this quanta or photon is given by E is equal to h nu. What is h? H is said to be Planck's constant and nu is the frequency of the wave. Means here the energy associated with that wave quanta is depending on the frequency of the wave. In earlier 20th century, dual nature of light was accepted. Phenomena related to light can be explained on the basis of wave nature as well as on the basis of particle nature, but here it is considered that light is in the form of transverse waves. It is not in the form of longitudinal wave. We have seen dual nature of light, and in that we have seen that light is in the form of electromagnetic waves, or light is a transverse wave. So let us see light as a transverse wave or electromagnetic wave. In 11th standard, you have studied electromagnetic waves. So you are familiar with electromagnetic waves. Just will revise that part, and for that purpose here I am taking x, y and z axis. You can see a wave. This wave is electric field wave which is propagating along positive x direction, and here oscillations or vibrations of electric field are along y direction. It is perpendicular to x-axis and it is present in xy plane. Amplitude for this electric field is given by E0. I have another wave which is in green color, and this is vibrating along z-axis. It is in xz plane, and this green color wave is representing magnetic field with amplitude B0. Here you can see that electric field wave or oscillations of electric field are perpendicular to x-axis. Similarly, oscillations of magnetic field are also perpendicular to x-axis, and they are perpendicular to each other also. So electric field and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, as well as they are perpendicular to direction of propagation, that is nothing but electromagnetic wave. Let us see properties of electromagnetic wave. First thing is that in these electromagnetic waves, these electric field and magnetic fields are very small fields, and these tiny oscillating electric fields and magnetic fields contribute for electromagnetic waves. Now, second thing related to that, it has transverse nature. Already we have discussed that electric field and magnetic field are mutually perpendicular to each other, as well as it is perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave. Now, the third thing regarding this, because we are discussing light, so here comes refractive index of the medium, that plays very important role related to speed of the light. Speed of electromagnetic wave in a medium, it depends on refractive index of the medium. Now, this refractive index, it depends on two terms, that is permittivity and permeability of medium. Now, what is permittivity and permeability of medium? These are nothing but the properties of the electric field and magnetic field of the medium, or we say that electric and magnetic properties of the medium. Now, these are the properties of which medium? These are the properties of medium in which that wave is traveling, and it is not depending on the amplitude of electric field as well as on amplitude of magnetic field. Then, on which quantity is depending? It is depending on permittivity and permeability of the medium. How it is related, that we'll see. Refractive index is defined as the ratio of speed of light in vacuum to speed of light in medium. And we know that speed of light in vacuum or air is said to be the maximum speed than any other medium. What is C? C is given by 1 upon under root epsilon 0 mu 0. Epsilon 0 and mu 0 are permittivity and permeability of air or vacuum, whereas V is given by 1 upon under root epsilon 0 epsilon r mu 0 mu r. Now you are familiar with epsilon 0 mu 0, and epsilon r mu r are said to be relative permittivity and permeability of the medium, which comes along permittivity and permeability of vacuum. And here you can see that C is greater than V. As C is greater than V, refractive index is greater than 1, or we say that absolute refractive index of denser medium is always greater than 1. As C is greater than V, we say that no object can travel faster than speed of electromagnetic waves or speed of light. So, Huygens assumption that speed of light in rarer medium is greater than that in the denser medium, it's said to be correct, or it's proved to be correct on the basis of transverse nature of light. In 11th standard, we have studied that electromagnetic waves have wide range. As their range is wide, they are divided into different categories such as gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, visible, infrared, microwave, radio wave, etc. Talking about electromagnetic waves, we can see here crowding of that wave is observed initially, then it is becoming wider and wider. Now, what this indicates? Within this region where there is a crowding, wavelength is less. And the region where it is getting separated, more and more separated from each other, at that time wavelength is more. Means as we are moving from left to right here, so wavelength is increasing. So for wavelength is increasing, and here you can see that wavelength values are given, that for gamma rays it is in the range of minus 10 raised to 15, minus 10 raised to 12, whereas X-rays are in the range of 10 raised to minus 9, and we are moving from 10 raised to minus up to 10 raised to plus range. So wavelength is changing from 10 raised to minus 15 meters to 10 raised to 6 meters. That is the wide range of wavelength is observed. Now as wavelength is increasing, what about frequency? Naturally frequency is decreasing, and here we can find that frequency is 10 raised to 24, 10 raised to 21, and it goes on decreasing up to 10 raised to 3 Hertz. Now our main aim is to focus on visible region, because we are dealing with light, so we'll focus on visible region. And here you can see that visible region, this is ultraviolet spectrum and this is visible. We'll focus on this. Visible region is having wavelength from 400 nanometer up to 700 nanometer. This even you can consider in terms of angstrom unit, which we use regularly, that is 4000 angstrom unit to 7000 angstrom unit. Angstrom units conversion is 10 raised to minus 10 meters, and nanometers conversion is 10 raised to minus 9 meters. So visible range is within this region, and here you can find out that the 400 nanometer is in the violet region, whereas 700 nanometer is in the red region. Now when we talk about these colors, for us what is important? Refractive index of the medium, and the refractive index of the medium depends on wavelength. If wavelength is different, refractive index is different. And as refractive index is different for different wavelength, then can we say that for the same angle of incidence, angle of refraction is different for different colors or not? What do you think about it? See, in 11th standard we have studied dispersion. So there we have observed this, and here you can see that this is white light. See in diagram, since background is white, so I have taken it black. And when it is entering into the another medium, at the time it is getting separated from each other. Splitting of colors is there. And the angle of refraction is angle made by that color with the normal. Here you can see that angle of refraction for violet color is less than that of the red color. Means the angle of refraction are different for different colors, even though its angle of incidence is same. And due to this, colors in white light get separated when passed through the transparent medium. And this is the reason for formation of spectrum and rainbow. What we say, as different wavelengths have different refractive index in the medium, or for the same angle of incidence, angle of refraction for different colors is different. Due to that, spectrum or rainbows are formed. Now here again your refractive index is playing main role regarding the different colors. So this is about light as a transverse wave. Thank you for watching. See you soon in next video.